architecture or an AMD 64 architecture, usually just look at the box of your computer or your processor. It's always there. On Intel, when you purchase a new computer, they usually give you the box for processor. It says EM64T, so that's a 64-bit computer. And for the enterprise level, there's also the Opterons and the Xeons. They're also 64 bits. And if you're one of the lucky few to actually have an Apple Macintosh, which currently runs on our PC, we also support that starting from G3 to G5. But recently, Apple has decided to move to Intel with their dual-core processors. We still don't have those yet, but they're currently being developed. We actually had Ubuntu booting up on the new Macs, but if you're still using the G4 or G4, G3, G5, basically the PowerPC architectures, we still support that. And if your company or your school is one of those organizations lucky enough to run a Spark or a Sun server or an HPPC, which I don't think there is one over here. Is there one? A Hewlett-Packard or an IA64? We currently run on those platforms as well, but we don't officially support it yet. These processors, these architectures are for high-performance computing. So they're not the usual computers that you see on internet cafes. These are server-based or more on the back-end stuff. So a lot of Ubuntu infrastructure, Debian infrastructure is being built on these architectures like Spark, for example. The build-D or the build-daemon, the auto package what we actually use for Ubuntu, runs on Spark that creates all the Ubuntu releases. So these are very, very high performance computers, and we actually have very, not really minimal, but we have community support for it because we're still testing if it will actually be viable for us to continue this. By the way, if you're wondering, Debian currently has 11 architectures being supported. And since a lot of architectures are those that are not really that used, they started deprecating the architectures. So for most people, they don't have to really learn about this stuff. But for corporates who have involved in high-performance computing, schools especially, it's nice to know that Ubuntu is running on these things. Okay, like I said earlier, we release Ubuntu every 6 months. So since we pull from Debian, it's like us releasing Debian every 6 months. So again, it's based on Debian SID. And the most common is that Ubuntu is released twice a year. So our versioning system makes it very, very easy for people to track our changes. So the first release was actually 4.10, which is October 2004. April 2005 was 5.06.